Opening one or more projects, you may select one or more projects and right click and select open, or press Ctrl O, or you can select file open, will open up the file open projects, and this allows you to open up a project as exclusive so nobody open up, as shared so other people can open up, or open up as read only. If you select a project and right click and open it, or select Ctrl O, it'll always be opened up in a shared mode. So if I want to open a project, I can select a project like Harbour Point Assisted Living. I can right click and I can select open project, or I can select Ctrl O, and this will open the project in shared mode so other users can open it. I'm showing the classic WBS layout, so this is showing the WBS nodes. It's showing the start and finish date and the Gantt chart with the timescale. This is the activities window, and this is the projects window. So this shows the projects, this shows the activities. This has a lower pane, so I can show the lower pane if I want to. And again, these tabs here I can edit, and you'll find in the predecessors and successors, you can actually edit the columns as well. So I can hide or display this bottom pane in the same way in the activities window as the projects window. Again, I can edit the columns if I want to by using the columns form. I can edit the time scale, or I can edit the time scale by using the same commands I showed you before, dragging left and right and using the plus and minus. I can also edit the details here if I want to. If I go down here and show the details, I can right click and I can customize the activity details and decide what tabs I want to show. So that's how you open a single project, and this project is opened up in read-write mode. On the other hand, if I want to open up multiple projects, I can Control click multiple projects, right click and open the project. And this is now opened up 3 projects, and you'll see in P6 that the projects are opened up one above the other, unlike Microsoft Project where they'll be opened up in separate windows. And this allows you therefore to have multiple P6 projects to represent one of your contracts or one of your projects. And again, I can right click and I can expand all, or I can right click and collapse to and select a level in the WBS that I collapse the WBS down to. So this is the activities window and this is the projects window. If I click on enterprise and right click and open, I'll open up the whole database and I may run out with memory. So one thing you must remember is when you right click and open a project, then what will happen is that it's reading the data from the database, and you have therefore a separate lot of information here. So the project data exists on the database and on your machine, and if somebody else opens up the project, then there will be data on their machine, your machine, and in the database. So if you make changes, somebody else will not see those changes, and I'll explain how the F10 and F5 work in a minute. So that's how you open up a project with file open. If I want to close, I'll go file, and you'll see it's got this drop down box for the whole commands. What you want to do here is I recommend you actually go into the menu here, go to customize and go to options, and make sure you don't show recently commands first, and then every time you go into a drop down box here you will see all the commands. Whereas if you go to this menu here and go to customize, uncheck this, then what will happen is you'll only see some of the commands, you won't see them all. So I do recommend you right click, go to customize and make sure options, you uncheck this option here, and therefore you'll always see the full menu each time. If I want to open up a project read only so nobody else can open up, I need to go to file open, and this therefore takes me to the open project, and I can open up a project in read only, or I can open up multiple projects in read only. Also, if I want to see who else has got a project open, I can go to users and see who else has got the project open. So if I want to open up High Tang as read only and I select open, now I'm opening that up as read only, and you'll see down the bottom here that it tells me I have it in read only mode here. And the formatting, it will open up the same layout, so it's going to show the same columns and bar formats and that sort of thing. So again, to close a project, I can go file, close all, and that will close all the projects, and you'll see the activities window goes away, and these buttons here are no longer highlighted. If I right click and open a project, then you'll see that these buttons are highlighted, and I can therefore edit various project data. Like for example, I can go and see the WBS here and edit the WBS, and you can close individual windows by clicking on the red box with the white cross in it here, or again I can right click and I can select File, Close All, and this will close all the projects. So that's explaining how to open and close a project. Displaying activities in the activities window. To display the activities after opening a project, you would normally see the activities window displayed, but if it's not displayed, you can either click on the activities window or select project activities, or you may have closed it down by clicking on this button here. So two ways to open up the activities window, and we'll now look at the bottom pane details tab. We'll have a look at this tab here. So I've opened up Harbour Point Assisted Living Centre, and if I show the details here, then I have a number of tabs here. I can right click and I can customize activity details, and I can see all the tabs now, and I just want to go through each one of these. So general is where you can change the activity type. So if I have a milestone, this will be shown as a milestone. So these are the activity types that are available. We'll cover these later on. We can change the duration type, % complete, etc. here. Status is where you update activities and where you can assign constraints. Resources, where you assign resources. These columns here, as I said, you can change these. If you customize it, you can change the columns that you see in some of the tabs. Codes is where you can assign activity codes. So a code has a value and a description, so you assign the value and it looks up the description. Relationships are where you can see predecessors and successors, or you can just see the predecessors or just see the successors. Again, these ones here, you can customize the columns. Notebook topic is where you can assign a notebook topic. You can add a notebook topic from a list of topics that's been defined for you and then put notebooks in here. Steps, an activity can be broken down to steps, and we'll cover that later on. Feedback is where you can have a discussion if you've got people who wish to go and give you feedback. I don't cover this in the course. You can assign a WPN doc, so you can have a link to a document or photograph somewhere in your C drive or on the network drive. If you're using the risk module, you can assign risks here. Expenses are where you assign a one-off expense, or things like airfares and things like that. Summary gives you a summary of the units or the costs or the dates here. That's the summary. Discussion is another option of having a discussion. I can add a discussion note here. Again, I don't teach this. You've got predecessors and successors, or you can assign user definable fields. And again, we'll talk about this down the track. So these are the tabs here. And as I said, you can get rid of the ones you don't want, and you can edit some of the columns. So that's displaying activities in the activities window. Also, you can right click and you can collapse them all, or you can right click and collapse to and select a level here like level 2, or you can right click and expand all. And also, if you want to, you can use this negative and positive by the WBS nodes to group and summarize the WBS nodes here. So that's basically looking through how you manipulate and format the activities window. I've also mentioned before that you can change your columns here. This is where you can change the timescale if you want to, or you can adjust the timescales I showed you before with the finger in the top row and the magnifying glass in the bottom row, or you can use the negative and positive here. Opening a portfolio. A portfolio is a way of reducing the number of projects displayed on the screen, and also the great advantage of a portfolio is you're loading less information into your computer and the software starts up a lot quicker. So if you're in a database with thousands of projects and you're only working on a few of them, one of the ways to get the software to open up quickly is to create a portfolio with just the projects you want to see in it. So we'll look at how to add projects to a portfolio and how to open a portfolio. So we're going to look at the portfolio option. I select Enterprise and I go down to Project Portfolios, and you'll see here that there are some portfolios already created. And if, for example, I select the construction projects, you will see here that these are the construction projects that have been assigned to the portfolio. and you'll see they're available to all users. If I want to have multiple users, then I can have the user access and assign users to this particular portfolio, but generally I'll probably leave it as all users. If I want to create a new portfolio, I can add one. I'm going to call it my portfolio, and then I can go to projects and I can select which projects I want in my portfolio. So for example, if I just want to select these projects here and maybe a couple from here and a couple from here, so I've now added these projects and these are in my portfolio, and I'm going to select close. I'm also going to go file, close all my projects, yes. And now if I select file, open, rather than open your project, I'm going to open a portfolio. And when I open my portfolio, which is down here, and I select OK, you'll now see that I see a lot less projects here than I would normally see. Also, I've got a lot of blank nodes here. So if I cancel now and I go to group and sort and I customize and I select hide if empty, I'm not going to see these blank nodes. So what happens now is when I start up the software, it will only load up the information pertinent to these projects here. And if I go file, open, I can see my portfolio here as well as here. So this reduces the number of projects that you load up in the database and the number of projects you will see. If I want to go back to the showing all the projects, I select file, open, and I select all projects here and open, and now that will show all the projects. And if I create a new EPS node, I'm not going to see it unless I go back to group and sort and I go to customize and I ensure that I don't have hide if empty. So that covers the portfolio option. It's quite useful, particularly when you've got a database with an enormous number of projects in it.